Autism Fitness founder, leading the movement for movement, Eric Chesson here, and bringing you, yes, you, another edition of Autism Fitness Tuesday Training, where we take a key concept, practice, exercise, modification, progression, standard, and break it down so that you get more education, information, and practical information about how to implement the best possible fitness and adapted PE programs for the autism and neurodivergent population. And speaking about that, if you are not already, I don't know why I'm holding a pen. If you are not already an Autism Fitness Certified Pro, head on over to autismfitness.com. You can register, you can start your journey to becoming an Autism Fitness Certified Pro and provide the best possible fitness and adapted PE programs for the autism and neurodivergent individuals that you serve of any age or ability level. So on today's Tuesday training, we are going to be talking about goal setting. Now, goal setting, when we're talking about the ASD or the ND population, takes on a little more gravity than just having physical goals. So, of course, with physical goals, we're looking at exercise by exercise. How can we get our athletes stronger in the squat or the press? How can we get them moving better in their mobility work with motor planning? How can we get them to move more efficiently throughout all of these different exercises? Yes, completely important, especially when we're talking about physical fitness programs. However, as we know, there can be significant behavioral challenges, obstacles that we face or that our athletes face. And these are things that we need to assess and address in order to have success. So when we talk about goal setting, it may not always just be exercise by exercise. Of course, there is that. But I've had plenty of conversations with professionals and parents who say, my student or my athlete or my child of any age has difficulty even transitioning into the gym or into the classroom where we're going to be doing fitness, or even in the home. As soon as we break out the medicine balls or the resistance bands, they are a big no to it. So the initial goal for programming might be on the adaptive side. When we're looking at things through the PAC Profile lens, we're looking physical, adaptive, and cognitive. So the initial goal for some athletes who are highly averse to physical activity or instruction of any kind is to build up their tolerance and resilience around fitness programming. So we may be providing a high level of behavior-specific praise and reinforcement just for coming into the room and getting situated. This has been the situation for several of my athletes across the years, because if we look at it big picture wise, if the athlete is not sufficiently motivated and engaged, we're not going to forget about best physical performance. We may not be getting any physical performance. And as we know, or should know, as the athlete continues to practice and has more contact with each exercise and we're coaching correctly, that athlete is going to get better at that exercise over time. So it's going to have more of a generalization effect. We're going to get more of a training effect. That athlete is going to get stronger and move better. But we can't get there if we have a highly aversive situation for the athlete. So sometimes we take a step back from the exercises themselves, knowing that if we try to program 5 or 6 different exercises right now, it's not going to work out very well. So our main focus here is on reinforcing the athlete for being present, being on task, being engaged. And that can be a process as well. Thinking big picture means that for long-term development, we want the athlete to be as motivated as possible, as engaged as possible with the exercise activities. We cannot, from ethical perspectives and just from the reality of things, force or coerce our athlete through a fitness session. It's not going to turn out well. We're not going to get anywhere near best performance. And ultimately, what are we going to do? We are going to ostracize that athlete, and they are not going to feel comfortable, capable. They're not going to feel calm and want to initiate exercise activities. So our long-term prospects there for that athlete enjoying and carrying on with exercise are limited, if not nil. So what we want to do is, in the short term, set up the athlete for success in the long term. If we consider exercise as a life skill, then we want this to be fully sustainable over time. If we want it to be fully sustainable over time, there has to be some initiative on the part of the athlete, meaning they are willing and motivated to participate in exercise activities. So if we start this off at an early age, or whenever we start with our athlete, it could be 8, it could be 18, it could be 48. If we start this out with our athlete early and often, we're going to get better results. We're going to have more beneficial outcomes. So with goal setting, yes, the physical is important. So that's the reason why we use the PAC Profile assessment. We assess each exercise so we know that where the athlete is starting. With a squat, it might be elevated. With an overhead press, we might have to do a mirror prompt or physical guidance. With a band row, we may have to do some physical guidance and make sure that the athlete is performing the exercise slowly with control. But then we get to the adaptive, and what we want to do is facilitate or create a situation in which the athlete is more and more motivated and feels more comfortable to participate. So our goals for physical performance may start with our goals for adaptive or motivational performance. And then where does the cognitive come in? All right. Well, goal setting, we want our athletes to be independent with each exercise. As we know, or as you'll learn, many athletes with autism are going to need initially a lot more coaching that's dialed in, meaning they're going to need a lot more support. So they might need physical guidance, they might need a mirror prompt. Our goal for each athlete is going to be for them to perform that exercise independently without us being very, very close and having to guide them through it. What does that mean? Well, we need to start with that guidance, but eventually fade it back. So our goal for some exercises might be independent performance as soon as that performance is good enough that they are getting a training effect from that exercise. So physically, goal setting. Well, we're starting at whatever the baseline is for that athlete. It may very well likely be a modified variation of that exercise. Great. We need to know where that is so we can set the next goal for them. Right? Adaptively, we may have low motivation to perform. So what's our next goal? To increase the on-task time for our athletes so they can get more out of the program. Right? And that's where we use motivation and reinforcement strategies. And finally, cognitive, our coaching and cueing. Where do we need to start our coaching for a particular athlete for a particular exercise so that eventually they're able to perform it independently to the point where it is slow, controlled, the movement looks good. When I say slow and controlled, I mean predominantly our strength exercises, but the exercise, the movement is executed well. There's a training effect happening because there is muscular control. All is right with the world. So this is how we break goal setting down from the PAC Profile perspective. Again, physical, adaptive, and cognitive. And that is something that you get in your Autism Fitness Level 1 certification. So if any or some or most or all of this interests you, it is time for you to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro. I hope that this has been helpful, illuminating, educational for you, something that you can use in your own practice. I'm Eric Chesson, founder of Autism Fitness. If you're ready to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro, the link is in the description below here. Please like, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching Autism Fitness Tuesday Training, and I'll be back next week with another topic.